World War I actually stopped for a soccer game.
I thought I saw you late last night and broke Callan, broke Callan, broke Callan Island.
Hello, how are you? I'd like a margarita on the rocks with salt, and you have a good Pilsner? Like Stella or something? What's the name of it? Gave her? What did he give her? Diamond ring. Gave her, okay.
Cheers.
Cheers, skull.
Skull.
Okay.
This is pretty good.
Is it all right?
Yeah,
I made it myself.
I could tell.
I lied. You know, the entire soccer world has, now with this World Cup, it's really coming out of a terrible phase, coming out of COVID. Up to 2020, we had maybe, in women's soccer, we had, I would say, 20 teams.
Yeah.
And now it cut the number of teams in half because it really scared people away from the sport in the city itself.
So, you mean in the city here? Yeah, I can imagine it totally decimated. Well, you had whole leagues fall apart all around the country too.
The people playing, they were even playing in masks. One team only would play with a mask,
I remember that in 2020.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
When did you start getting back on the field again?
I never got off the field.
Oh, so you played the entire time?
I've been straight through.
Wow.
Happily, it didn't hit me, coaching with the women. But the women, it completely knocked the season out of not so much 2020, but 2021.
It was a good season.
It knocked it out. No, it was gone.
It was gone.
No season. Then they finally started up in towards the end of the year.
Got it. What about this year? How's it been this year?
Well, I went to, instead of my amateur team, which was very competitive, my amateur team ended up breaking up into other teams. And a lot of the girls, were very skilled players, and they there was more opportunities to play for money.
Oh, interesting.
And
that's why they won.
Yeah, and there's, believe it or not, there's a lot of leagues that the coaches throw the players some money, especially in women. Not a lot of money,
like
but
a couple $100 or something, and then play a game.
Yeah, on the big ones, there's some really good players that'll get that much money. They're using it as an income producer, and I wasn't going to be. So I'm coaching college now.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? You think things are going to rebuild?
I hope so, but let's see. On the East River side, there's a park at East 6th Street.
Yeah.
And the city just decided to demolish everything on the lower part and build a 20-foot wall, raise it up to protect it against another Sandy. So we had a brand new soccer field there. It was John V. Lindsay soccer field, and they're in process of going to destroy it and rebuild it.
Yeah, it's tough. There's not a whole lot of space to begin with, which makes it really hard to play in the city.
Well, that's the biggest problem. I was out in Midwest. I was in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a soccer field everywhere.
In Oklahoma, the space, was so amazing. You'd have one field, there'd be 10 fields there. Another area, there'd be another 5 fields. Here, we have Randall's Island, and that's pretty much it. And then a few seeded fields here and there. Mostly the best ones go to baseball.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
I think it's going to change.
You think so?
You just watch, the kids. When I go out on the soccer, on the soccer field, when I go out to the park with the kids, kids aren't playing ball with their parents. They're playing soccer with their parents. It's different now. There's nobody playing football. It's like all.
Well, you think 10 years ago was more football?
I remember
baseball?
when I was growing up, you go play with your dad in the park, and it was baseball or throw around a football. Now you kick around.
And now it's soccer.
Everybody's kicking around a ball with their parents.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge difference. Like the kids are playing. Also, it's soccer's now been around enough in the U.S. that there's there's real professionals everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows somebody who played pro ball, which is different. When I grew up, nobody had ever met a pro soccer player, ever. Had never ever met one.
Yeah.
And now they're around. They're people who know how to actually play, who know how to teach. And I think that's going to make a huge difference over the next 10, 20 years. So I'm kind of very optimistic about the whole thing, actually. I think it's going to take
I was some time ago, I won't say how long, because it'll kind of date me, but I was actually talking
like 2 years ago.
I was talking to Pelé's coach.
Yeah.
And his name is Julio Matze.
Yeah.
And kind of bring it up because Pelé, they say he might be on his deathbed now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got colon cancer. But his coach, I asked him, I said, well, when do you think, this was like in the 70s or 80s, I said, when do you think that United States will have a world-class center midfielder?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, it might be 50 years from now. He says you'll get good defenders because you get, the tall, big guys,
Yeah.
I think actually United States would be a world power.
Yeah.
If, like they are with women's soccer, but in men's soccer, if you were able to funnel some of the football, basketball, and baseball athletes into soccer.
Yeah.
But there's too many interests in this country. Tennis, golf.
Tennis. It's going to happen. Like the money has to get there a little bit. I've been working with this Danish team, and
Can you pronounce the name of it?
Akademisk Boldklub.
Akademisk
Boldklub.
Boldklub.
Yeah.
So that's ball club.
Ball club.
So it's Academy Ball Club.
Yeah.
I have to brush up on my Danish.
You do. Especially if we're going to go over there.
Especially if we're going
We're
there.
going to spend the summer there.
Yeah, good God.
We might. If you're up for it, maybe we go.
I watched them play, and I think Max would excel at that type of play.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
They're good. They're like a good, solid soccer team. And they're moving up a division, so there's a lot of energy. There's new money in the club. We're gonna bring some.
How much does a soccer team cost?
It's
Roughly.
It depends what you're gonna do. But in this case, what happened is you have a real talent coming to actually change up the whole thing. So that's part of the value.
Okay, so the actual players coming in are different than they were.
Not the players. Like the management's going to be very different. The coaching, the management is going to be different, and really more the management. And this is like real professional management.
So they're going to be changing the team.
They'll be working on the team. They'll be working on the whole platform. They have a beautiful stadium. Getting the stadium really nice. Getting ticket sales up. Next year they're moving up into the second division, so they're going to have TV contract.
So, we're talking about like 5 million, 10 million, 50 million. What are we talking about?
I think it's it's like in the under 10, but it comes with all these other things with.
Where you actually own the buildings and the field and all that.
Well, you don't. Yeah, the way it works in Denmark is you don't actually own any of those things. The club has a right to a particular set of fields and the stadium, but the city actually pays for the stadium, which is actually really quite nice.
Wow.
And if you basically show that you're doing good things with the team, they will invest in the stadium.
Wow.
Is basically the way it works. but there are like great Danish teams that don't have nearly as good of a stadium as this team. So there's a whole opportunity, just to create like a great great excitement, get people started coming to the stadiums, and now that they're moving from 3rd division into the 2nd division, they also have TV rights now all of a sudden. So there's going to be additional revenue just from the TV rights.
Well, I watched some of their games on the internet.
Yeah. What'd you think of them?
Yeah. I tell you what, most of them are very tall.
They are tall guys.
And I noticed that because I'm short.
A different style of play, yeah.
But
a lot of heading, huh?
But
Jumping.
But I have a way of, manipulating taller people.
Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah.
What are you going to teach Max to do?
I step on feet, I hold bodies, I throw elbows, I jump into them, I
jump over them.
I mean, when the ball's moving, the ball's coming down, they're going to want to come over you.
Yeah.
So you got to gain more. You got to gain more real estate behind you.
Yeah.
So that you can go back and then forward with the ball.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, either
so
that or you
there's
just
techniques.
either that or you just got to stick an elbow right in his gut, Yeah, but so the point is, if you have a high level of technicality, you can really get go farther,
Further, yeah.
than just somebody with an aggressive personality but with no technique.
Gotcha, yeah.
So it's very, very important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, when you get to that level of play, it's crazy how technically good everybody is. It's insanely good.
The average,
except for Martinez, who missed. Did you see how Martinez?
Martinez?
This is when Messi passes. Like, this is the Argentina game.
Oh, and the Argentina team.
Messi
but
passes
they won.
Yeah. They could have really won.
Listen,
like 2-3 times, Messi dribbles around everybody. He's
got somebody.
4 guys go on him.
And then passes
somebody. And he shoots it over the goal in front of the goal.
Oh God.
In front of the goal.
That's when they take their shirt and put it over their heads.
So, but yeah, it's exciting to see it come together, that whole project, and
I'm going. I'm going, no matter what.
That'd be fun.
But getting back to New York, have you ever seen some of the games that have been played on the fields like McCarran or Manhattan, Pier 40, or any of these other fields?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen when they separate it into 3 sections and they play 7-on-7, predominantly co-ed?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of young people getting into the game. I say younger than me. Like more like, from 20 to 30.
30, yeah.
And there's a tremendous upsurge. I've never seen so much interest in that group.
Yeah,
and
just
it could
to play
be,
on like Sunday or something.
Yeah, they'll play different nights. They'll play Tuesday nights, they'll play Wednesday nights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they play all different nights. And there's a lot of different organizations that, provide it.
Yeah.
Pick a name, New York City Footy, foosball, what they have
that's
all
great.
different names, millions of different, not millions, but
All these clubs, yeah.
well, it's not a club, but it's like an organization, and they'll get a field and they'll divide it up and they'll get goals and they make the organization pay the referees, and for about $150 to $170 for maybe a 10-week season, they provide a service of good co-ed, and sometimes male or female soccer. Most of it seems to be co-ed.
It's amazing.
And another thing that has been a great thing is that a lot of the bars have embraced it, and the teams will go to a particular favorite bar and talk about their glorious plays during the game.
That's awesome.
But it's great, and I've never seen it. Like it wasn't. I was in Oklahoma in the '80s and even in the '90s, and they didn't have anything like that.
What got you to Oklahoma?
What got me to Oklahoma?
Was it just the soccer?
I went to college in Oklahoma, and I got into soccer, but I got into also coaching. I got into coaching kids too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
While I was in college. And when I did that, I was actually able to coach a young man named Joe Max Moore.
Yeah.
And Joe Max Moore, you know, from when he was 7 years old on, you know, he was not a big kid, but he'd run around, fall down, get kicked, get knocked, you know, get up and run around. He never stopped moving, you know. I mean, I love the kid, you know. He ended up becoming one of the top
Best, yeah.
players in the United States and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And, you know, got me a tryout.
It's
And
amazing,
got
yeah.
me in until I broke my leg, you know.
Yeah. How much do you think of like that, like, you know, succeeding in soccer is about not getting injured? Is that like a big component of it? Like, are there a lot of soccer players who just don't make it just because, like yourself, who
Yeah,
just
they get injured,
because
yeah.
they get injured enough that they can't?
Yeah, a
Is that
tremendous amount.
Is that a big deal?
Joe Max Moore blew his knee, but he
Yeah.
blew it a little bit later than me. I blew it earlier.
So he had time to really progress.
He had time. He played for Everton. He played for the United States, you know, a national team.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy for him for that, you know. But I'm also happy for people like Max Golosovker,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
who I call Max Goal. Poof. Wow. Amazing. First try. Can you do 2 in a row? Good shot. 25 yards. Okay, all right. There's your little dance. Okay. I told the kid today, I saw a goalie today, and we were just, Max and I were shooting on goal, you know,
Yeah.
and a guy just walks up to me, you know, he's 6'1", 200 pounds, big, strong frame.
Yeah.
He says, can you guys shoot on me? I'm a goalie.
Uh-huh.
I recruited him into the team. and Max initiated him.
Yeah. What
Max,
happened?
Max, you know what do you call that? The gun, the laser gun.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
laser. Yeah, the one
You
that
know?
does the speed
It
gun.
doesn't work over 60 some odd miles an hour, because after I got above 65 miles an hour, it doesn't record his shot.
Yeah, and
So I think his shot is about 70. And this kid, this guy took a lot of shots today, about 100 shots, and he was very impressed with Max.
Yeah.
And Max really was like invigorated, you know. When he took one particular shot and nutmegged the goalie, that means getting
From
the ball
distance,
through these legs at 23 yards away.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do. Smoke.
Like blistering. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, cheers
cheers
to
to
that. Good genes.
Not mine. My wife takes credit for all the good stuff. It's called marriage. You want another one?
Yeah.
I'll get you one.
So what do you think the Danish people think of Americans?
You mean like the soccer people, or in general?
Or in general, or soccer people, both.
So there's a lot of apprehension about foreign owners coming into
Yeah, I've read that.
to you know to
Own his team, yeah.
own this team, and
It's like what happened to Manchester United.
well, I don't know what happened. What happened to
It's American owners,
And
and I think they thought about profit more than, you know, making the team be a championship team. But I think this
which is precisely what I think the concern here is, that are the Americans coming in to make a quick buck, to turn it around and get a quick buck, or is this really an investment in the long term? And really, this is an investment in the long term.
I think it's an investment in long term.
I mean, that's how. I mean, basically, it gives you a platform for identifying talent, bringing talent up through the leagues. Like the real money, the way it gets made, is you find great soccer players, you show the world great soccer players,
and sell them.
and you sell them, and then the way it works is you get a transfer fee for the rest of their lives. Every time they transfer, you get paid
Get out of here.
forevermore.
Not just the first one where then you're gone?
Every single one.
Every single one?
forevermore.
Well, explain the transfer fee to me.
So I forget the exact percentage, but you get a percentage of their contracts for the rest of their career. is the way it works. And so there's a huge incentive to basically, so that's what these teams become, is like the second division is really a platform for bringing talent up into the world. And so if you can become good at finding talent either locally, internationally, in the United States, Latin America, it's a wonderful wonderful opportunity to do that, and it gives you a channel to do that.
Well, you know what the Brits did, though, which was really interesting, is when they came to America, the NASL, which was the North American Soccer League, they made a rule because they were just getting foreigners, but instead they made a rule that you had to have at least 2 Americans on the field at all times. So they had to bring Americans into the game so they could fulfill that rule.
Yeah.
But what happened was the Brits would come in. Oh, what we got? Sure.
Very simple stuff.
And Spanish tortilla.
Hopefully this is going to be good for you.
That looks like olives.
Olives. Simple olives.
Olives.
There you go.
Well, Popeye would be very happy
There you go.
having more than one olive. Thank you so much. How can you use an olive with a fork?
Yam.
It's a fork in the road. Looks like finger food to me.
It is. It's all tapas.
Excuse me.
Tapas. Spanish tapas. You know what that is?
I thought you said topless.
No, it's not topless. Tapas. You were saying like the NASL in the 80s. You had the Brits and like the 2 Americans. That basically the role?
Yeah. The problem with that was the Brits figured out a way to get around it. Was they would marry American women,
Oh. So
and they would
be
become the American.
Oh.
And the rules, about migration, immigration, etc. Marrying somebody and becoming a citizen was not as difficult as it is today. It was much easier. They could fall in love with somebody that they met, a few weeks ago, and become a citizen. Get married. I'm going to use my fingers. I don't think I could negotiate that stick into it.
It's not easy.
You have to be a whaler. Whale ho!
There you go. So what was it like in the 80s playing soccer here in the
Well,
States?
I'll tell you what. The 80s was a lot easier than...
We'll do a mic check one more time, and then if it's on again, I'm going to put another sticker.
It probably doesn't stick to muscle. He's a state champion wrestler.
Really?
Back in the day.
Back in the day. I have some tape. You want some tape?
No, it's good. We're good. Oh, wow.
Why don't we do the tape? Can I do it? It's gonna work.
I actually brought it to get rid of my neck,
Perfect. All right. That's really quite good.
You got to try it.
I tried it. It's really good.
When did you try it?
I just tried it.
I dare you to try it again. Margaritas are very healthy for you.
Are they?
Well, they're very healthy for me.
A lot of vitamin C in a margarita. Plenty. What I was wondering was, how was it? What was it like playing soccer in the 80s?
Oh, playing soccer in the 80s, yeah. It was definitely a different game. Going back in time, Because by 1970,
Yeah.
all right, and before that, 66 to 70,
Yeah.
was the first time they ever used cards for violent acts, violent fouls.
On the soccer field.
There
yeah.
were no yellow cards or red cards. Unfortunately, my favorite player, who was Pelé, didn't get to play fully in the 1962 World Cup because he got injured.
Yeah, and they didn't have cards.
And in 1966, he got injured again because they were going for him. They were putting him out because he was just such an amazing player. Now, can you imagine if you had basketball, you know, like if you had LeBron James, and instead somebody run into him and broke his knee or cracked his ankle? But this actually happened back in those days, and it was just something to be lived with.
So you couldn't be a great player.
At least we had 1970 when, you know, he scored 2 goals in the World Cup against Italy, and he, you know, helped win the game there. But don't you think America could have a player like that?
America?
America.
Of course.
What does it take?
I think it's going to happen. It has to happen sooner or later. Once in a generation player.
There's so much competition with other sports. America is such a great nation with so many great athletes in so many different sports. Who actually ever beats us in basketball? Nobody, except one time in Munich.
Yeah.
All right, in Munich, Russia beat us. Maybe not so legally, but
Wasn't legal, huh?
But by a last-second layup.
Yeah.
I watched it in real time. 1972 in Munich.
You did, really?
I
Wow.
watched it in real time, and they put time back on the clock.
Was it like a
so
2
that-
seconds or something?
Yeah, so that the Russians could throw the ball full court to a player to lay it up and win the game. And before that, there was a foul, but that they didn't recognize. You know, it was on,
Shady.
Yeah, it was shady. It was shady. I mean, I wouldn't say it was shady if it wasn't shady. I'm that kind of player. I'll take the other side. If I'm refereeing my own team, I'll hold them to a higher standard. But this was shady.
That's so interesting.
But, you know, I'll tell you what. You know, there's a funny story about England, who started soccer.
Yeah.
Right. They had a game during the World War I. World War I actually stopped for a soccer game.
This I didn't know.
They actually had, back in World War I, there was trench warfare, which means they were dug down in, you know, and bombing each other and trying to just kill each other. And at one point, right on Christmas Eve, somebody started talking to somebody on the other side. And they responded, and they went back and forth, and they finally agreed to a truce on Christmas Eve. And they actually, you know, went to each other and traded smokes and drinks, and, you know, this is crazy during a war. And they had a soccer game between the British and the Germans, and they played a soccer game in like
On Christmas?
1914. It was amazing. And then after it, it was like, okay,
All right, now
they're calling us back to war. We got to go back to our trenches and fight each other. You know, it just shows you the human condition.
Yeah, and the power of the sport.
I could use another drink. How about
can.
yourself?
I'm
What are you
getting
You're okay?
done. Yeah. You
Really?
Go for it. Yeah.
I'll get you another one.
Here, let's put these back here too.
Yeah, that was good.
You're gonna do another margarita.
Yeah, of course. I got to give him some juice. Since you're such a youngster. How old are you now?
I'm
35? 41?
35. I'm about to be
41?
47.
No.
Yeah. I'm
No.
almost 47.
You look great.
Yeah, you do too.
Yeah, right. You know what I think's going to save soccer in New York?
What's that?
I think co-ed soccer is going to save soccer in New York. And I can't really figure it out because I don't know whether it's because the girls want to meet guys and the guys want to meet girls, or whether the girls
Seems
have
like a
something
great reason.
or the girls have something to prove against the guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I've actually seen where the girls were better than the guys,
Yeah.
and the guys didn't expect it. I was coaching a player who is in medical school now. I won't give her a name, but I was coaching her. She got into co-ed soccer, and she ended up she was the high scorer on her team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was scoring head goals and full volleys. Amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Is it a paid league? The Premier League, I mean?
Not officially. Let's
The
put it this way.
Yeah, Premier League is not officially paid.
If you have a team and you want them to win, what are you going to do? You know, it's like anything else. It's just like a man and woman in the street, you know? You know, either you have love or you have money, one or the other.
Well, I think that's the thing that has to change here is like there has to be more money brought into the game of soccer. I think that's got to change. That's got to change the sport.
Well, there's got to be a purpose for it, though. And right now, there's so many sports in America. Look, you got football, basketball, baseball, and soccer. You know, they draw in a lot of the players, a lot of the athletes.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I was coaching in Rockaway.
Yeah.
Now Rockaway is like an Irish-Italian hamlet of firemen and policemen, and you know, and they had a lot of different sports there. And I had to compete as a soccer coach with the other sports because the parents would have them be in basketball and football. So my center midfielder was also the quarterback of the football team. So if there was a football game, you know,
He wouldn't
you had
play.
to see, you know, he most likely would be at the football game, you know, because the American parent, you know.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do, you know? The only problem in New York, though, the biggest problem is we don't have enough space.
Yeah.
When I was in Long Island or when I was in Oklahoma, we had so much space. We had fields everywhere that would be open, empty, you know, you could go play. But here, give you an example. The schedules of soccer only start at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday or Sunday.
Here.
Here.
Why?
Well, you'll have Spanish teams that'll come in at 6 or 7 o'clock because they know there's nobody has a permit, and they'll take the field.
Until
Complete
8.
uniforms and everything, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
they're gonna play.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I've seen that. quite a
yeah,
bit.
a lot of them. Ecuadorian leagues,
super
Guatemalan leagues, Mexican leagues, a lot of Spanish soccer. And you know what I love about them? Is they're very family oriented.
Yeah, they bring their whole family
They
to the
bring the whole family, they bring food, they sell food, you know. I would go to games just to buy the food, you know? And they're very, you know, they're good people. They're good people. And they're exciting, you know. They're just, they're genuine.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that, you know. I mean, I'm not getting up to watch a game at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know. But they are. But they're playing that, you know. I mean, I'm just talking about your son.
Is that right?
And I said, at 16, he's got a six-pack, he's got muscles, you know. And we never even dreamed of that at my, you know, at his age when I was, you know, I'm proud of him.
He's
I'm proud of him.
yeah. I mean, he works really hard for that.
The one thing I have to say that he has over many other players is a work ethic of working hard at something.
It's crazy.
I remember when I taught him to do nutmegs,
Yeah.
and he was just amazingly doing them so well, you know. And you were so nice enough to contribute to his growth. you know, and
To let
run
him
around
know.
after him, you know.
And you nutmeg me 1,000 times. So.
Maybe not 1,000, but I've never had a student like Max, including Joel Max Moore, including anybody else. He's just an amazing kid, and I wish he was mine, but he's not. He's yours.
We get to share some of that. He wakes up at 6 in the morning, work on his arms, do his, work on his stomach.
I
Like all the
once
stuff.
I once woke up at 6 in the morning to go to the bathroom.
Or 5, yeah, right. So, good job.
It's crazy. Is that a reflection of you? It's got to be a reflection of you, of your hard work.
Yeah, it's his own thing, man. It's his own thing.
It's got to be from you. What do you think about, when you look at this team in Denmark, what about your dreams with this? Do you have dreams like, to be involved in something like professional and maybe with your son or without your son? Or
I think it's just a lot of fun. Like
it's a lot of fun.
Like it's a fun business to be a part of, and to see what you can do with it, right? Because it's how should I put it? Like there's such an opportunity to like after COVID, there's so many of these teams that have like really had it hard. Like
yeah.
they basically no revenue for 2 years.
Yeah.
They weren't in a great place to begin with.
Cut everybody down.
And so you can shape that. You can take that. There's a little bit of investment, both of like money and time, really, but more time.
You think it's more in European or than American or?
Well, I think the opportunity is going to be in Europe for a while, but what I can imagine happens is we start to feed talent into the European leagues from America.
America. Really, from America?
Why not? There's so much talent here, but the money is there now, and so I can imagine that this becomes a channel to bring American talent into Europe for a while.
That would be outstanding.
Wouldn't it be outstanding?
Be great.
So I think it's just interesting and fun. Like in that way, it's like a fun opportunity to shape like a different way of playing soccer in Europe, right? Because
you think there's risk involved, or is not really so much?
There's always risk involved, but I always believe that if you're really passionate about something, if you put some time into it, you work hard at something, you will succeed. Like it will eventually succeed. And for that reason, I think this is going to be an interesting opportunity to really shape a team.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
I'm excited about it. Here.
We'll see. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Denmark, Copenhagen,
2023.
I gotta learn a little Danish, huh?
Do you know any?
Nothing.
Not a word.
I know about Danishes.
It's breakfast treat.
I'm a butterfly.